Did we just watch a man fly?
Edwards! The explosion to the rim! Who's in Oz?
You can't grab that, man.
I can't? You sure about that?
Nah, you can't.
You see these shoes? They saying cane ain't even in my vocabulary.
Anthony Edwards might be one of the only humans on Earth that can say that, because when it comes to flying, there's not many like him.
Look at the moves by Edwards. Swashbuckling and slamming! Anthony Edwards!
And when you combine this kind of generational athleticism with the ability to score from every spot on the floor, well, you get Michael Jordan. I mean Anthony Edwards. Just ask Kawhi Leonard. Watch as Ant isolates against Kawhi before driving hard right and rising up for a soft jump shot. And that's probably the most basic Ant highlight you'll see all season. Because when I say this man has an entire arsenal of moves, from that same Clippers game, he did this.
A little Euro and the flip in. Edwards headed to the line.
I don't even need to explain how nasty that move was, because he does things like that on a nightly basis. Just look at him on this play against Jaden Hardy, where he backs him down in the post before looking as though he's going to step through, then pivoting away and hitting glass over his opposite shoulder. Or how about against the Knicks? The ball comes out to him at the three-point line. He drives hard right, and look at the nasty crossover before faking the pass and stepping through for the layup. And that's not even the only time he's pulled off a move like that against the Knicks this year. Look at him absolutely cook Josh Hart, pivoting as though he's going to hit the fadeaway before stepping through for the bucket. It's this kind of bag which has led to the Wolves taking the #1 spot in the West on the back of Anthony Edwards averaging 26, 5, and 5. And the thing that's so scary about Ant is so far in his career, we've already seen him elevate his performance in both of his playoff runs. Look no further than what he did against the champs last year, averaging 35, 6, and 5 to go along with 4 stocks over his last 4 games. Just watch him on this play. With Aaron Gordon in front of him, he sizes him up before crossing right and having the strength to absorb the contact from Gordon for the bucket. What kind of guard has straight line speed like De'Aaron Fox, but can also put Aaron Gordon in the weight room? The answer is not a single one. And it didn't matter if it was AG or KCP. They had no answer.
Sizes up Caldwell Pope, spins, fades, he buries it! Gordon defends on a switch, crossover, 3, he got it!
Hold up. That right there is an elite defender at Aaron Gordon. Look where he ends up after this crossover from Ant, which clearly left some kind of impression on AG, because he went on to say Ant was the second toughest matchup he faced all playoffs.
So that would probably be Ant Edwards. Yeah, that young boy's nice.
Yeah. That man really nice.
Even tougher than the likes of LeBron, KD, and Booker, just to name a few. And just to give you an idea of how much of a playoff riser Ant was last season, this is a list of the top scorers from last year's regular season and then the difference in points per game during the playoffs. Yeah, pretty impressive. And for what it's worth, there was also a significant jump in production the year prior versus Memphis. But the scary part is, he's now playing at a significantly higher level in this regular season than last. So if that trend of playoff rising continues, those numbers are going to start looking pretty wild. And I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to guard him, because his combination of skill and physicality is just so unique. Earlier in this video, I even said Ant was a generational athlete, and some people think the word generational gets thrown around a little too often. So don't just take my word for it, take his former strength and conditioning coach from Georgia's word for it, Coach Sean Hayes, who has spent nearly 3 decades in professional sports. And you know what he said? He said he's seen 2 athletes with comparable athleticism to Ant, Terrell Owens and Jason Peters, saying Ant would wrap up a 3-hour practice by throwing down a 360 dunk. That's something I'll never understand. I'm looking at him doing alley-oops off the backboard, windmills, and tomahawk dunks. Most people are dragging themselves off the court after an intense practice, and he's over there smiling and having a dunk contest with himself. And this is something that can't be measured through numbers, but even the highest level athletes and coaches all seem to be in awe of what Ant can do on a consistent basis. Even one of the best players in the NBA said this just a couple of months ago.
Ant is amazing. Like, the stuff that he does on the floor is ridiculous. That first game against Germany, where he just took over the whole second half, that was like the greatest performance I've ever seen in person. I was like almost in awe. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I was like, bro, you look like the Bean right now. He shot the baseline fade and double pumped over Schroeder. I was like, no.
Just the fact you had a team with the likes of Brandon Ingram, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and so forth, yet the unanimous alpha and #1 on that USA team was Anthony Edwards. I think that says all you need to know about both his skill set and his mentality. And speaking of his skill set, everyone knows what he can do as a scorer, but Ant has also taken a very clear leap as a playmaker, and in particular in the pick and roll. Look at this play where Gobert sets the screen out top. Ant probably over dribbles a little bit, but it's his ability to elevate and make a perfect dime over the top of the defense to the rolling Gobert. And it's this ability to see over the defense with his added size that gives him an advantage. Like here where the Kings send 2 defenders at him and he then forces Sabonis to commit before making the dime. Importantly, he's also capable of making the skip pass to the corner shooter if the defense slides over to prevent the lob to Rudy. Like here where he throws an absolute dime to Cat in the corner. But the reason we love to watch Ant is because there's just a level of improvisation that you don't see from many other players. Like this play, which is just flat out cruel. It's really cruel. Ant has Nance out top, spins Nance around with the fake backdoor before then pump faking, drawing every damn Pelicans defender on the floor and having the composure to kick it to Nas for the wide open 3. Anytime a player can break someone's ankles without even touching the ball, they have a fan in me. And it's this level of improvisation which makes me believe we haven't seen the best of him as a playmaker. Just look at him on this play. He initially backs down House, Embiid comes with a double, but he doesn't panic, spinning baseline before then finding Gobert in between 2 defenders. And all of these clips show you how special he is offensively, but what stands out is how good he can be defensively. Just think back to a game earlier in the season against the Boston Celtics, and with 5 fouls to his name, Ant got the switch onto Tatum and put the clamps on him, staying in front of him the entire way before forcing the brick. And that's just one of many big defensive plays Ant has made this season. Look at him on this play, strip Kyrie Irving clean. I don't need to tell you how uncommon it is to make a play like that against Kyrie Irving of all people. Or how about against the bigger Brandon Ingram, this time fighting around a screen to take the ball from Ingram before striding down the other end for the bucket. I can't help but feel come playoff time, Ant is going to turn into an even bigger monster on the defensive end. We've already seen the playoff jump he makes offensively, but if he can channel that same improvement on defense, he's going to be at a level very few other players can match.